It is, which is understandable.
Well, the reason being is Jason Kidd, Luka, and Spencer Dinwiddie has sucked all the energy out of this building. 15 of 30 from three, 50% in a game 7, and they've averaged 15 made threes throughout these playoffs. So this is nothing new that we're seeing from Dallas.
What's good, YouTube? This is the very first video of a series I would like to call The Outlook. A series in where I take an NBA team and talk about the future, the current state of the team, and the current state of the players. And in today's video, I will be talking about the Phoenix Suns. If there's a team you will want me to talk about next, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get right into this video. Now first, I wanted to talk about the current state of this team. The Suns really don't have that much depth. I mean, outside of Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who can you really rely on off the bench? I mean, yeah, you have Cam Johnson off the bench, who I'm a real big believer in, and I feel like he could be a starter on this team. I just feel as though you need more. And yeah, you could have Chris Paul or Devin Booker on the floor most of the time, but we just saw in the playoffs that that doesn't work in the long run. I mean, once neither of them play good, that's basically the game for the Suns. I mean, yeah, you have DeAndre Ayton, who has potential to be a great scorer, but I feel as though he's not polished enough and he doesn't get as many touches as he should be. And yeah, you have Mikal Bridges, who's young and has potential to be a good scorer, but I feel as though he's not polished enough, and I feel as though he's better utilized as a catch and shooter. And once again, you have Cam Johnson, another young wing who has the potential to be a good scorer, but I feel as though he's better utilized as a catch and shooter. The Suns just don't have an established third scorer to help Chris Paul and Devin Booker out when they're struggling. And another gripe I have with this team is just the lack of size and athleticism. I mean, outside of DeAndre Ayton, they really don't have another interior presence. I mean, if you look down the list, they're really small for their position. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, all really small for their positions. And defensively, I feel as though that hurts them a lot. And it literally showed in these playoffs by them getting torched by Luka Doncic and Spencer Dinwiddie. But positively, looking at this team in their current state, you have an all-NBA first teamer in Devin Booker. I feel as though Devin Booker will continue to improve all facets of his game. I mean, playing next to Chris Paul, his playmaking and defense will get better, and those are two things that I feel like he needs to work on the most. I mean, outside of those two things, he's a guy who can give you 30 in his sleep, and he can play on or off ball, and not to mention he's one of the most portable players in the league. He can play in any system due to him being able to play all three levels at a very high level. He can shoot the three well, he can shoot the midi well, and he's a really good finisher. So Devin Booker is a guy that the Suns definitely feel comfortable going into the future with. And how the team is constructed right now, obviously one of the biggest strengths of this team is the outside shooting and the spacing. I mean, outside of DeAndre Ayton, almost every player on this team can hit the outside three at a high level. Now, as far as the Suns' future, I'm a little concerned. I mean, Chris Paul isn't getting any younger and Jay Crowder isn't either. And with them giving DeAndre Ayton $133 million, it's going to be harder for them to sign free agents. And not to mention Cam Johnson, Torrey Craig, and Jay Crowder are all going to be free agents after the season. So the Suns have to worry about three key players leaving and their second best player aging and declining. So I feel as though the only counter to that is to make a trade. One guy I would recommend trading for is Jonathan Isaac. Now I understand that he hasn't played in a very long time, but I feel as though he can come in and make an immediate impact on this team. He could definitely help with the length problem, and he could also stretch the floor for them. And not to mention, when healthy, he's one of the best defenders in the league. And he could also help the lack of athleticism that this team has as well. At the very least, I feel as though John Isaac can be a very good defender for the Suns. And him being 24 helps them in the long run as well. And I also feel as though this would be a smart trade for the Suns because I feel as though the Magic's asking price wouldn't be too high. Another guy I would recommend trading for would be Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is a guy who can stretch the floor and at times when you need him to can be that third scorer. If I were the Suns, I would slide him right to the 4 since he's shown that he can play that position very well with the Sixers. He has length, he's a smart player, and can play in any system that they want him to. And yeah, he may be getting a little older, but I feel as though if you're the Suns and you want to win now, this is a perfect trade. And with the teams of the West getting better like the Grizzlies, Clippers, Nuggets, and Mavericks, I feel as though the Suns need to make a trade now. And not to mention the Pelicans, who gave them a run for their money in the first round, are also getting better. And before you know it, those teams will start overlapping the Suns and the Suns will be left in no man's land. Now, where do I see this team next year? I see this team being a fringe top 5 seed in the West and still staying competitive. Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton will continue to get better as the season progresses. And Chris Paul will continue to be Chris Paul as long as he can. And Monty Williams is still a really good coach. But like I said, I just don't see them repeating what they did last year with all these teams getting back healthy and just getting better. I mean, they didn't gain anybody significant, but they also didn't lose anybody significant. So I feel as though they'll stay the same. They'll still play the same brand of basketball. Devin Booker will continue to improve. Chris Paul will still be that floor general. But them not having that third scorer and not having much length and athleticism will really hurt them. So barring any trades or any free agency signings, this is just where I think they'll stand for next season. So for the Suns' overall team grade, I give them a B. And that's counting their future and where they stand now. And that is the Suns' outlook. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. More content just like this will be on the way soon. All my social medias and Discord will be down below in the description. And if you have a team suggestion that you will want me to do next, please let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. And peace.